that all starts and ends with people. You need to change the mindset of the people. You need the people to be part of the change. And the question that we were doing recently while talking with other companies was what happens if you don't get digital. Well, the first thing is that you are putting in risk your company. The company will be less competitive, and since every single company is going forward, if you don't go digital, you are going to be behind. Okay, then you are losing opportunities. Every single second matters, since every single data you can obtain from now matters. So the historical data is going to help you in the future with the different solutions. So the later you start, the worse for your company. And of course, the inefficiency in the infrastructure. Usually all over the world, the infrastructure is poor, it's old, and you need solutions to improve the efficiency. So the benefits of the digitization. Well, I have listed different, but I'm going to highlight the ones that I consider more important. Decentralized asset management, where you can have a holistic view of all your processes and assets. The savings, of course, you can save in production, you can save in energy, you can save in money. The increase of efficiency, I think it's what every single water utility is looking for. And of course, increase of the productivity. You can, the workforce can use the time in other things that look for a leakage, for example. Data-driven decisions means that the systems, the solutions are helping to take the decisions to the responsible, to the managers or to the engineers. And of course, the customer satisfaction. When you are telling the customer that they are losing water inside the house, of course, they appreciate it. And a demonstration of that is that we are increasing the engagement with the customer through the virtual office that we implemented time ago. New business opportunities, as is our case. I belong to Global Omnium, that is a water utility, and now we create another company that is Goaiwa, that is providing software. So you never know what you can do with the data you are managing. And of course, competitive advantages. Water sector is an old sector, it's a mature sector, and it's still not digitalized. And of course, you are going to be more competitive the more digitalized you are. And last is the EBITDA. Since you are saving costs, since you are being more efficient, since you can use the time of your workforce for doing better things or other things, you are saving money. Okay, so it gets directly shown in the EBITDA of the company. And the cultural change. Well, as I was explaining, the water sector is an old sector, it's a mature sector, a traditional sector, and when you are implementing different solutions, you are changing the mindset of the people and the culture of the company. Well, some of the milestones of the company, I want to differentiate between people and infrastructure. Well, the first thing we did was sensorizing and monitoring the entire infrastructure, so we can have an overview and a holistic view of how was the infrastructure. Then the energy efficiency, where we were saving cost with the pumping activation and desactivation. Then the sectorization, where we were doing water balances in the different sectors of the distribution network, controlling with flow meters the entry and the exit, the output with smart meters. Also the asset management, where we are nowadays able to predict how the infrastructure is going to behave. So when you are going to need to replace certain pipes of the infrastructure. And last, the telemetry, the smart metering. Even if we started with the telemetry, it will be the last step of the digitalization. And regarding to people, as I explained before, the mindset of the people and how you are treating your customers, your clients. What we did was creating a virtual offices, so the customers, they could interact with the water utility for the first time. They could pay through the virtual office, they could complain through the virtual office, and they could see the readings through the virtual office. So the engagement, as I explained with the customer, was increasing. And on the other side, regarding to the workforce, to the operators, they had a tablet, they had a smartphone where they needed to indicate every single work they were doing. So the system was telling the operators where they needed to go first, and the operators were taking picture and were writing in the system every single work they were doing. And it came in a reduction of the 60% of the complaints in the last 5 years. So the result of Global Omnium Digital Transformation is GoAigua. That is the company that I represent. It's a suite of solutions and technologies for companies committed to efficient water management. So we have commercialized the solutions we have been using for the last 12 years. And well, we are using more, but we believe that these are the 6 ones that the market is needing. The first one is Nexus, is the data ingestion and integration that I will explain later. The second is EARS, is for intelligent management of the distribution network. Limbat for management of energy cost in the utilities. Tiresias is telemetry and demand prediction. Glacier is the commercial cycle, so billing, reading, collecting, debt managing, and so on. And Water Twin, that is a digital twin for having a holistic view of the installations. This is the architecture. We divide it in 3 different levels. The first one is the IoT infrastructure, where we are sensorizing the network and the different deployments. The second horizontal is the data ingestion and integration. It's our big data platform that it's able to read any kind of vendor and to understand any kind of protocol, of communication protocol. And on the top we have different verticals that are using the different data that the IoT infrastructure is giving to the big data. So we have the visualization with the Nexus, we have the leakage detection with EARS, we have the smart algorithms with Tiresias, we have the managed of the commercial cycle with Glacier, and we have the efficiency, the energy efficiency with Limbat. As you can see, we are covering most of the problems of the integral water cycle with these six solutions. So let's go with the first one, Nexus Integra, our big data platform. It's on the top of the sensorization. What is Nexus Integra is a big data platform that is agile, robust, and it's able to understand any kind of protocol of communication and to understand every kind of vendor. So the system is basically homogenizing the different data the sensor are given to the platform, and the system converts this data into the same languages. We can have real-time data that we can offer or we can give to the different verticals or the different uses a customer or a water utility needs. We are talking that we are dealing nowadays with 6 billion data points, and well, you can imagine how agile need to be the platform in order to assimilate all this data and convert them into something that has sense for the water utilities. Well, some of the advantages of this solution is that it's super efficient in order to integrate the different data of different vendors. Is that is democratization the different data that are coming into the big data. Of course, it's reducing the maintenance since we are predicting how the installation is behaving, and for the future, for the industry 4.0, we are saving future implementations. About the Water Twin is the solution for having an overview, a holistic view of how the installation or the different the installation of the network is behaving. We are able to monitor and operate from different modern SCADAs. So the platform is giving us the possibility of taking decisions and of measuring and controlling different metrics. For example, we can control the pressure, we can control the flow, we can control any single variable or any single metric we want to control, and it's 100% customizable. So it's the user who is going to draw this SCADA that is on the top of the traditional SCADA. We have integrated all the different SCADAs that the company has, and we have put this modern SCADA on the top of it. So yeah, you can put alarms, you can decide if the system is gonna take decisions, or if you want to receive an alarm, for example, in your app of the mobile phone or in the tablet, for example. You can also draw 3D systems. And as you can see, you can put, for example, that you want to control the evolution of how the pumps are working in a well, for example. At the moment, we are managing 2,500 different SCADAs in 300 facilities. So yeah, we can say we have some experience in this. And something that I would like to highlight is that we haven't drawn any of the SCADAs. It's always the customer who is drawing the SCADA. If you want to know more about this modern SCADA, you can come into the booth and we can show you a demo. Well, this is an example of one of the SCADA that a municipality has built, where you can see wells, you can see an hospital, you can see a residence area, you can see deposits, and if you go inside each of them, you can see another SCADA with a 3D and controlling every single variable you want to control. Yeah, so the sensors and the alarms that I already explained you. Then we have EARS. EARS is the intelligent distribution management. Is the solution for detecting leakages and frauds inside the distribution network. So it's about sectorization. We have different DMAs where you are controlling the input and the output. You can have this information real time, since it's sensorized with different technologies. And you can, it's an open source, so you can integrate any other software you are using in your company for leakages detection. Well, some of the advantages of this solution is that we are saving money, since we are detecting more leakages. In our case, we have increased the efficiency from 60 efficiency to 85. You can have the demand forecasting thanks to the algorithms that are running in behind. The usability of the solution, the solution has been developed from engineers, and is made for engineers, so it's easy to use. The reliability of the results, when we are receiving different results that are not matching with the historical data we have, the system creates an alarm, and it's able to correct the different data, or to estimate when we consider we have a wrong data. And one of the most important things, when the system detects a leakage, in the case we have different leakages, the system prioritizes which work order should be first or second. Here we have a mistake in the slide, but for example, this is a use case where we have a work order, we have the creation of the order, the resolution, how is the status, we have the historical work orders, and we have the prioritization, how the system has prioritized the different work orders. The benefits we have got during the last years with this solution is that we have saved in 2018 4 million cubic meters, that we passed from 60 to 85% of efficiency in the distribution network. We are saving 80% average in water losses, and we are optimizing the human resources, since, before the engineers were all the time looking and trying to understand how the distribution network was behaving, and now it's the system who is telling you what's the behavior of the distribution network. This is different graphics we have from the platform. You can see the volume. You can see different flow nightly measures or a water balance. And on the left, you can see the different metrics that the system is giving to the engineers or to the managers of the distribution network. So we have flow metrics, we have volume metrics, we have pressure, we have water balance, and we have readings, and also we can see the work orders. This is, well, the different sectors. This is a screenshot of the solution. In blue, we have the sectors that are working perfectly with any mistakes, with any alarms, and in red we have when we are receiving anything, an alarm. Sorry. So we can have in the map a general overview of the distribution network. We can be helped thanks to the system to take a decision, and we can control this with different smart devices. Well, this is a real case where we receive an alarm about a high minimum nightly flow, how the system creates an alarm. Here we can see that we were losing 3.2 cubic meters per hour. We can see that the volume was going higher, and well, it was supposed to, well, something, I'm missing how the system solves this problem. But basically, the solution creates an alarm and it prioritizes the order, and when it solves, the system, you can see the evolution of the water balance that comes down and start to correct normally. The steps for implementing this solution would be sectorization, where you need to divide the distribution into smaller areas. Then you need to install data loggers in order to control the flow that is going inside the sectors. And last would be controlling the readings through smart meters. Then we have Limbat, that is for the energy cost, where we are controlling how the pumps are behaving. So we don't need the pumps to be activated all the time that the deposits are going low, are going down. We need the system. What this solution is doing is telling the system when the pumps need to be activated based on the demand forecasting, based on the energy prices, based on the fatigue of the different pumps. So, well, with this solution we are saving 10% of the energy cost of the whole company, and well, in the last year we have saved 1 million euros. So it's one of the most important solutions, since, well, the energy a water utility as ours were using was really high. So yeah, we have different historical data from the last 12 years, and the system is based on machine learning and artificial intelligence, and is being correct and is growing and developing all the time. Then we have our smart algorithm solution, where we are able to detect leakages inside the houses. Thanks to the demand forecasting and to the pattern consumption we have, we are able to say if a client has forget an open faucet in a house, and we are calling the customer and we are letting them know that they forgot an open faucet, for example. The commercial cycle is about the billing, reading, collecting, debt management, asset management. So everything from the commercial water cycle is controlled through this solution. So the solution has different modules. It has modules for the debt management, for the reports, for the virtual offices, for the billing, for the work orders, and for different issues of the commercial cycle. Well, we have this. I have brought different successful histories of this digital transformation of these solutions we have. I want to highlight these three: the one in Qatar, where we are saving water in the airport, and where we are using the wastewater they were using in public institutions. In Ecuador, where we are managing the commercial cycle, and in Spain, in the city of Guandia, where we are implementing the solution of Stevicias, that is controlling the readings, and is the first smart city in the world with an urban technology implemented. So in Qatar, we had a problem that we were not controlling the water in the distribution network of the airport. We had no separate system, and the losses in the airport were super huge. So we had the challenge of getting a real-time information and repairing the different and detecting the different leakages of the airport. So we decided to implement two of the solutions. We implement Nexus Integra in order to control the assets of the company and creating alarms and different maintenance and predictive systems. And also EARS, where we were controlling the non-registered water and the non-revenue water. We were looking for leakages, we were quantifying the lost water, and we were prioritizing the work orders of the airport. So we use this combination, our big data platform and the leakage detection platform. And also we are running another project in Qatar where we are using the wastewater of a municipality. Basically, they were just discarding some water, and we transfer this water into a water they can use for irrigation or for cooling systems. Well, this is what we've done, how we have optimized the use of the water, and how we were predicting the water demand. And well, we got featured as a case of study in different reviews. Then in Ecuador, where the public institution of Ecuador had a traditional way of billing and collecting money, they had a huge debt because they were not controlling the money they were collecting. They were collecting, I think it was 5 million, and after this solution they are collecting 21. So basically, it's a public institution. The water for them was free, so they were not paying attention to the water collecting, to the bill collecting. And well, we implemented this solution. That is Glacier. And well, here we have some of the screenshots of the platform where you can manage different incidents, or you can manage the debt of the company and different stuff of the commercial cycle. And then in Spain, where we are controlling the client consumption in real time thanks to the smart meterings and thanks to the narrowband IoT technology. It was for a municipality of about 100,000 people. We are using the smart algorithm solution, and we are using narrowband IoT. And with all of this, we are able to know how is the consumption every day and to predict which is going to be the demand of this small city. So the results are that we are saving a lot of money since we are able to detect the leakages inside the different houses or industries or shops in the city. We are being more efficiency since we are producing less water, and we are just producing the water that the city needs. And well, international recognition since it's the first city in the world with a narrowband IoT deployment, and it is using smart meters. Well, as you can see, we got appear in different interviews, in different newspapers. So why us? Why us? Because, well, we are a water utility. The solutions have been developed for water specialists and to the water sector. This is not a solution made by IoT people, IT people from another sector. No, this is all for water sector and from water sector. Second, because we have more than 10 years of experience. We have 12 years of experience where we have developed these solutions and where we have implemented the solution in the 400 cities we are managing. Third, because all the solutions, as I just said, are proven and ready to use in the 400 cities we are managing. Four, because the engagement with the customer is going higher and higher, as I repeat several times in the presentation. And well, the more happy the customer is, the business is going better. Always you need to have the customer with a high satisfaction. And five, we used to say that is big enough and that is agile enough. Are really complex solutions, but are super agile, and they are ready to use in the water sector. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have enjoyed this presentation.
Any last questions?
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
you to
Yeah.
ask some questions, if you can help me with them. So, first of all, do you work as operators or or suppliers? How do you engage with the utilities? What's the model, if you want the business model?
Okay, so the business model is we are a service. We are giving the software as a service. Okay, so we go to a water utility and we give you the software so you can use it as you want. We are not going to replace any operations or we are just delivering the software.
Okay, so you're providing the solution.
We are just providing the solution. So there are two different lines, business lines. One is the water utility, that is the mother company, that is Global Omnium, and then is the solution provider. We are the solution provider.
Okay.
So we are just providing with the solutions, and of course with the consultancy and training and all that stuff.
You haven't done any type of performance-based contracting or anything?
Sorry?
You haven't implemented, for instance, a performance-based contract yourselves?
Yeah, we did.
You
In
did?
Qatar, in Ecuador.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
The three key success histories that I have shown, they have been implemented by us.
No, I mean, like you would get into that function in the utility, take over, and get compensated based on your performance.
No, only for our mother company, only
Okay.
for
Yes.
Global Omnium.
Okay, another question is, you have several modules that work on different functions in the utility if you want. Do you provide, this is just to confirm my understanding, you would provide the function, or let's say the module that supports or helps serve what the utility is asking you to do. So for instance, do not always provide them with a comprehensive solution that includes all modules.
No.
You're asking
This
for a
is-
specific module and you give
That's
them
it.
that. Yeah.
This is modular, so we call it a suite of software,
Yes.
but it's just a suite, but you can just take one of the solutions and just implement. So you have a problem with the leakages of, if you want to manage the commercial cycle, there are different solutions that you can use as two different solutions. So
Yes.
it's modular. You can use independently.
Okay, and another question is, you have a solution, but then you have different contexts. And in context, I mean, like a utility in Jordan might not be the same as a utility in Yemen, or like I'm giving examples from the Arab region. I mean, in terms of the level of maturity and the level of complexity of operations and processes, it might be different. So, which means that the solution that you're going to apply will have to take into consideration the level.
Of course.
So you've gone through all these steps, like.
The solutions are always flexible and integrate. You can integrate the different processes of the company has. So if you are doing the things in a different way that we are, we can customize the solution for you. You know, so it's always. How could I explain? I don't know if you understand. You understand what I say? That you can.
I mean, also, I also would like to know if, like, for instance, one utility would be ready to implement a certain solution in, like, for example, non-revenue water, whereas another utility will not be ready or have the capacity to implement the same solution, because they are at a lower level of competence, let's say. So is it a one solution that you implement here and there, or do you take into consideration the difference in, like, readiness and supporting institutional resources that are available in every utility?
Yeah, of course. We need to. The first thing is to understand how the company, how the water utility, in which stage is. Of course, if you don't have sensorization, we cannot do nothing. So the first step is to understand how the water utility is, and depending on the states that the water utility is, you can apply it or you cannot apply a single solution. So, for example, for leakages detection, you would need to sensorize the network, the distribution network. You need to control the flow meters. You need to be able to control the meters as well. So if you don't have this, we cannot implement the solution.
Yeah, and same as like, for instance, isolating the DMAs. If those are not there, so you cannot really, it's more difficult to...
Yeah, of course, the first step actually is to sectorize. If you don't have DMAs, you cannot apply this solution that is for the leakages detection. So there are different steps for implementing the different solutions, and yeah, of course, depending on the states of the company.
One last question.
Yeah, of course.
Have you worked in with a utility where water is intermittent, the supply is intermittent?
What do you mean with intermittent?
It's not continuous supply?
No.
No. Okay, just the question. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, just one question from this topic is you added a lot of metering functionality into a grid or a network and you use this information to take actions. What would be your savings if you actually control at the end user side? So with other words, now you are reactive, you can only do something based on data and you go directly. But what if you could digitalize, take actions, for example, if you have a leakage on a certain level, in case you can control this flow. So you not shut off this leakage, but in the time you could solve it, the flow and the limit of spill is reduced. When you go into more comprehensive networks and established cities, what if you could control end user consumptions like washing machines or dishwashers? How would that be in the next step? Because this is only, it's not a closed cycle at the moment.
I don't really understand the question. So what if we could control, for example, how the machines inside a house are working?
For example, yeah, because this is, you mentioned IoT, Industry 4.0. Nowadays we also get much more equipment which is equipped with sensors.
Well, when we say IoT,
functionality.
We mean that also IoT, but we are working with every different technologies at the moment. It's not always IoT. But I don't really understand the question.
No, for me the question would be more is that you cannot act on certain events. You cannot manipulate certain events.
No, of course. And actually when it's inside the house, for example, or an industry, we cannot take a decision. We can just call the customer and just warn him or her about the different event that he has or she has in the house.
But this end customer who you detect the leakage with, does he get an update on his app?
Yeah.
He gets an update, okay.
Yeah. Well, you can choose the different ways that you can receive an alarm or a warning. It can be through the app, we can send an email, or we can directly call the customer. So the customer is gonna decide how want, or if he or she doesn't want to receive any warning.
But let's say in the future perspective, and if you have a household with multiple devices which are also IoT controlled, take washing machines, dishwashers, etc. What would be the saving if you could also control those devices? So they're not randomly started, but depending on the current status of your installations.
If we have the permission of the customer, of course. We are already doing this. The system is already taking decisions. For example, in the modern SCADAs, through the Nexus solution, the system is taking decision about if the pressure is going higher than some number. The system is going to take the decision of closing a specific valve, for example. So the system is already taking decisions. How? Through the algorithms, through the different monitoring system that the network or the installation has. So we have the permission of the customer, we could do that. But I think it's a little bit intrusive maybe. I don't know if a customer is gonna want to a water utility to control as much. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Maybe the company has, but I haven't. I wouldn't like a water utility, a private company to control what I'm doing. I just want the company to let me know if I have a leakage, that's all. And well, the future might be that the water utility could stop the leakage, of course, but it will depend on the permission of the customer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you very much.